next up, we've got Friday night action and a lot of Friday night games. If you love weeknight football, I mean, we got 3 games Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday. We have 4 coming up for you on Friday. And it's another ACC matchup here. We've got Florida State taking on Duke. Duke 4-point home favorites in this game. The total sitting at 43, 42 and a half. Actually, more 42 and a half halves across the board for this one here on Friday night. Let's see where Florida State's at. Obviously, we are expecting to see Brock Glenn once again at quarterback with DJU has been benched. And not only that, but I think he's also injured as well. DJU potentially done for the season. He underwent surgery on his throwing hand, and he's going to miss probably the rest of the season. They say several weeks, but I think his season's over. He wasn't playing that good anyway. I don't think Mike Norvell's in a rush to start him again after the way he's played so far this year. So he's probably just going to shut him down, and it'll be Brock Glenn, at quarterback for the rest of the season here for this Florida State team. Florida State off a bye week where they lost to Clemson 29-13 before the bye on the road, at home at Death Valley. Duke also off a bye. They lost 24-14 to Georgia Tech. Their first loss of the season. I do want to point out with Duke, though, 5-1, but what's their best win? North Carolina? It's not Middle Tennessee. It's not UConn. It's not Northwestern. Although Northwestern did play well against Maryland last week. So it's not a great schedule that Duke's played. That would be my concern. I just can't take Florida State, especially on the road. I mean, you look at the two games away from Tallahassee. They lose in Ireland to Georgia Tech to begin the year. SMU on the road, they get shellacked 42-16. Now, that was DJU stinking up the joint. The defense wasn't any good. We'll maybe give Brock Glenn a chance to be a little bit better, but I don't trust Florida State enough, and I don't know where their heads are at right now. 1-5, season going nowhere, a season of massive disappointment. Who knows where their psyche comes? Do they come out of the bye week refreshed, new energy, revitalized? I don't know about that. When you have aspirations that you think you're good enough to win the ACC and be in the playoff before the season, and now you're 1-5, I'm not going to bank on the kids just rallying here that, wow, let's play out the string. Let's still fight the good fight the rest of the way, even though they're 1-5. They've been a massive disappointment. So by default here, it's Duke or pass. Am I running to lay 4 with Duke? No. But Duke's the only side I could take here. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really wouldn't want to lay more than this or a touchdown, I'd say. But, I mean, it's always like, do these kids, after the bye week, do they get something going? I've seen enough.
These days with NIL, I'm getting the bag now. I'm getting the money. Who gives a fuck now? 1-5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I still think the only thing that's been all right for them at times has been their defense a little bit. The man for Florida State, they've games have been a little bit lower scoring and kind of hung around, but still, it hasn't been very good. And I've seen just enough of Glenn that there's just no way I could back him. And that start, against Clemson, 228. He had a touchdown and a pick. I can't get there. I think this is Duke. I should have covered that Georgia Tech game. I know they might not have won it. They still have a very solid defense, I think. And anything, I was hoping this would be a 3. I'd like it a lot better. But, I think this is Duke. And their schedule, it's a lot of grief. But listen, that's who they played. They're Duke. This is a basketball school. I know, they play some decent football. And I take them here, too. I kind of lean under. I think the total's about right. So it's always tough wanting the favorite and the under if you bet it, you would need the 21-16 type game or something like that. But I don't.
Now, I will say this, 8-0 straight up, 7-0-1 against the spread. That's Florida State head-to-head over Duke the last 8 meetings. So you've got to overcome some damning series history if you're going to take Duke here. But you almost
beat them up. But there's been no team like this. I mean, there hasn't been this bad a Florida State team in at least a while.
That's the thing.
And Duke's a little better. Yeah,
I agree. You almost have to disregard those last 8 games because Florida State's a totally different team. They're terrible. They're way down. And who the hell knows where their mindset's going to be for this football game? Especially with, as Chosen One says in the chat, they got the one game they could actually rise up and give a shit about and really want to play well is Miami. And that's next week. So is this Duke game as important for them? I don't know. So yeah, for me, it's Duke or pass. Like I said, I'll probably have a small bet on Duke. It's going to be nothing strong, but yeah, you couldn't get me to back Florida State right now, and especially again with Miami on deck. All right, Oregon.
You got to see it too, but I don't think just lit your money on fire for the most part.
That's exactly what they've done, and at least you've cashed a few times with Duke so far this season. All right,